God is the creator.
But it isn't.
God isn't the creator?
No.
That's a misquote also?
Yeah, that's a misunderstanding and also a hijacked belief system.
If God isn't the creator, then there's two questions from that.
Mm-hmm.
Who the heck's God?
Uh-huh.
And who the heck's the creator?
Welcome to the Driving to the Rest podcast. This is Inelia.
And this is Larry. Just a quick note. If you're hearing this, you're on our free feed, which means you'll only get the first part of this conversation.
To access the rest, go drivingtotherest.com and subscribe to the Wisdom Keeper Hour.
Join us and our expert panelists for detailed insights and the after party where you're invited to join in the conversation. Head over to drivingtotherez.com and become a subscriber.
Your $8 subscription keeps this podcast ad-free and helps us keep the lights on and maybe even get a decent cup of coffee. More importantly, it connects you with a community of passionate wisdom keepers like yourself. So if you're ready to go deeper, join us at drivingtotherest.com and support the journey. This week's episode is going to cover how can the light and dark see each other? I'm going to read a little bit because it needs a little bit of explanation, okay, of my article that we base the podcast on. So here goes. On a recent comment on my Telegram channel, one of my long-term readers and supporters, Veronica Volkers, hi. Although, is it Volkers or Volkers?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Hi, Veronica. Asked a question that not only is relevant to the podcast she was referring to, which was the one about the mystical mechanizations of the Vatican to keep the human society in darkness, but also relevant to all my work for the past 15 years. Here's her question. I just listened to the podcast and there's your telling. They made us an offer and we agreed. If we're only totally different frequencies, how can they even know about us or make contact unless we gave them an opening invitation? And this is referring to the light and dark, right? How would they, the dark side, have a conversation with us and offer us those type of experiences? She's referring to the fact that a dark being can't see the light being and vice versa. The light being can't see the dark being. So how can the dark beings make us an offer if they can't see us? I'm super happy she asked this because as we have got the cat's purring and scratching me. Anyways, I'm super happy she asked this as we have not directly addressed this particular question since 2010, where I explained how this happened in an article called The Nature of Darkness in Duality.
Yes. So often I've heard said, you can't know what's light unless you, what is it? Experience the dark. If there's no dark, you don't even know what the light is. I mean, at some level of waking up, it makes some sense, but it's clearly a hijack, right?
Yes.
Because what it's saying is there's a certain level of torture, a certain level of, enslavement, twisting, burning, poking, misery. You got to have all that, poverty, suffering. All those things are necessary just so you know what you actually already are.
Which is light.
Yeah. So, not sorry, but that's completely wrong. The least amount of torturing that you can have in your life, the more likely you're going to be bright and shiny.
Yes.
The more torturing, at least during the period of your torture, you're not very shiny bright. So that's already less, right?
Yeah. I'm really glad you brought that up because I have found that many individuals will look at those situations, either in themselves or in others, where all this nasty, nasty stuff happened, and they literally cannot see the dark. They'll literally think, oh, that's good for me. That made me a better person. Well, that's good for that person. You made them better person today. Or, oh, they're only being bad because those things happened to them and stuff like that, right? So the topic being, how can we have been agreeing to have darkness in our experience if we can't even see what it is? Yeah.
And I mean, how much torture does it take to make you a better person?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense.
Like some level of it, that's okay. And then some level past that, that's your excuse for being evil bastard now.
Right. But also we've heard a lot about post-traumatic stress is very popular these days.
Popular term.
Popular term. Actually,
I don't know if it's popular.
It's popular.
Like, I think I'm going to go get some PTSD.
No.
Popular nowadays.
To say that I'm PTSD is popular, right?
Yes, right.
And if you understand what PTSD is, then you already know that having those nasty, dark experiences is not good for you. They make you less able. A PTSD person is not exactly an able person. They actually receive disabled benefits, right? Disability benefits.
Right. So there is something to be said for challenging.
Challenging is different.
Nice challenge.
A nice challenge like climbing a mountain or, creating a beautiful home or doing your best at work. Those are challenges.
Managing obstacles.
Yeah,
with
obstacles
high frequency.
in a high frequency way. They make you strong. They make you challenge yourself and makes things interesting. But that's not exactly...
That's not the same as the dark or the bad or the dark made you stronger. That's a different thing. And that's where the hijack comes in, because dark things are difficult also.
Yeah.
But they're not difficult in the way that makes you stronger. They're difficult in the way that makes you weaker. Stronger.
Yeah.
So...
Anyways, I want to read what I actually wrote in 2010.
2010?
Because, I've answered this question since then, and I've been answering it, but we haven't really delved into it. Even the last time we looked at that article, the article called The Nature of Darkness in Duality, which was, we looked at it in Driving to the Rest in episode 175. We went through that article. We didn't really touch on this part very much.
We didn't.
Okay. So...
It was only episode 175. We were still just learning how to podcast.
What episode are we on now?
We we've stopped counting, I think. That's how you know we're doing good.
Yes, yes.
I'm teasing.
Anyways.
Here's the article in 2010.
Yeah, this is what I wrote in 2010. And then we can look at it a little bit at a time, because this is what I want to explore, really,
Okay.
And then on the second hour, in the Wisdom Keeper hour, I'm really looking forward to seeing what our panelists come up with, what they understand and have seen in their lives, or even questions they might have, All right, here we go. As I was growing up, I had a recurring dream. In this dream, there were two universes, one light and one dark. In the light universe, everything was beautiful, happy, and harmonious. In the dark universe, there was great suffering, slavery, pollution, and more. Do you want to talk about that bit first?
No, okay. I just want to listen.
Okay. The creator, or should I say the, quote, creator, unquote, decided that these two universes could learn from one another. That somehow, if they joined, their evolution would be tremendous, or something in those lines. That's how I interpret it, actually. It's like the actual thing simply said it was a good idea. How entertaining is that? There was no way to join these two universes because, due to their absolute nature, they could not see each other. The, quote, creator, unquote, decided to make a being which was both light and dark. This being was a construct that only had one purpose, that of it entering each of the universes and infecting it with the opposite color. The being entered the light universe first. It was welcomed there with trust and love. But everyone he or she touched then became sick. Sickness was unknown, and the beings began to die, suffer, and question their existence. After a few thousand planets were infected, the being went to the dark universe. However, as now there was darkness in the light universe, he had become visible to the dark universe, and the dark beings were already preparing an assault on the light universe. The being of light and dark entered the dark universe and was met with distrust and quickly enslaved. However, everyone who came into contact with the being was infected with light. These beings began to suffer from compassion, love, and other unspeakable things. Soon, the being was helped to escape. The beings in the dark universe that were infected with light also had a deep understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of the light universe. Meanwhile, in the light universe, an attempt was made to help and fix those beings who now possessed darkness. Planets throughout the light universe began to help, but were instead infected. It was realized that these infected planets had to be quarantined, and beings within them started experiencing the first sense of disconnection from Source. And like the book The Return of Light, which is allegedly a novel, but I think is a channeled thing, which states that it was the dark beings who created a wall. In my dream, it was the light which made the barrier around the infected planets. The dark universe rulers, eager to expand their territory, began a complete assault on the light universe. Because the light universe had separated into infected galaxies off from the rest, the forces of darkness were only able to access to infected planets in those sections, and not the rest of the light universe. This is where my childhood dream ends. As an adult, I had another dream. In this dream, I was a being so large and powerful that I could travel through universes, and my interest was the exploration of those universes. As I traveled through a beautiful light universe, which is like swimming through a symphony of song and color, suddenly there is a big cry, like trillions of souls crying at the same time. Then, as my attention tries to locate those cries, silence. There was a section of the universe which was completely and utterly silent. The silence was so intense, it was like a dull ache in the fabric of reality. Myself and many other beings, curious as to what had happened, traveled to that place. We see, behind the wall, worlds of pain, suffering, and destruction. We watch, unable to do anything, unable to understand what is happening. More beings gather, and there's a call for help. Many volunteer, and the work to first understand and then claim that sector begins. If the information I have since gathered is correct, then it appears that this planet, Earth, belongs to the light universe. It explains many things.
So those are a couple of dreams you have.
Yes. They were both recurring dreams that were identical to each other. And as a mystic, that would mean like they're not your regular kind of unconsciousness trying to get through to you to summarize your day type dream, because they're identical. And also they come back over and over and over again, maybe weeks or months and sometimes years. And the first one was certainly years. The second one was a few months.
So the first one basically describes, how light and dark gathered in the same place and could see each other.
Right.
Using a creator and someone. Well, anyway, it wasn't. In other words, it's not it's not a natural configuration, right? It's artificially generated.
Right.
It's generated artificially. It's not.
And I use the word infection because it's like it comes in as an external thing. It's not part of that person. That person doesn't become both light and dark. There was only one being that was like that, light dark.
The rest of the beings are like infected with light or infected with dark.
Yeah. It's attached to them. It's not like becomes part of them.
Right. Which is an interesting distinction. I mean, if you look at it, because one of the other hijacks I've understood plenty is that we're all part light and part dark, or we all have a little bit of darkness in us or a little bit of light in us.
Like
and
the yin yang sign.
Yeah, and we interpret that to mean that it's a natural part of us to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And like when you say things like, if you could do anything you wanted, what would you do? And then the answer you get often is what? What kind of answers do you get when you ask that question?
I don't remember.
You do too.
I don't right now. What answers are you thinking of?
Well, the general consensus is I'll go do things like get all the candy in the candy store.
As an adult, what would you think people would answer? If you could do anything you wanted in the world, what would you do?
Well, the dark nature of people would be the one that they would express that they are repressing.
Okay.
Like the sex with everyone, or tons of money and get people to do stuff, or the slavery things, or the darker aspects. Not all of the time when you say that, the things that people are holding themselves back from doing, they don't hold themselves back from doing the light things that are part of their nature. That's the dark things they hold themselves back from doing.
That's an interesting equation there, or dynamic, I should say.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like the natural aspect the person expresses freely. So if there's anything you could do, and it's implied that you're not doing right now, or you can't do right now, then the only thing they're oppressing is their things that are, the parts that they feel are dark, right?
Right.
Like
Which
enslave, torture, abuse.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that.
Stuff like that, right? So thinking of it like an infection instead of like
it's part of them,
a part of you, that makes it better understandable why it's not the part of you that you just need to express fully, dark work and all that other stuff in order to be fully yourself. It's just not true.
No.
Which is to say there aren't dark beings who that is true.
I think I remember now what you were trying to say before when you ask that question to people. It's not that question.
Oh.
No. I think what you're referring to is when a person tells another person, you can be yourself around me.
Oh, that's right. You can be yourself.
I've seen that a lot. That part I've seen a lot. You can be yourself around me, and then suddenly this other person becomes an absolute beast.
Obnoxious beast.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, that's not you. Why are you playing doing all these nasty things? But again, it's because we've been suppressing all these other things that they were feeling, wanting to do or whatever is right. And also
the nature of the infection.
The nature of the infections. Like if you can accept all this nasty stuff, then you'll accept all of me. Yeah. When it's not like that at all, because the person is naturally a light being.
Right.
I've also seen a lot of people and society supporting that if a person is going through something, they have carte blanche of being an absolute bastard or bitch, They can be absolutely horrible to other people and hurt them because, they're going through something, or they have hormones, or they have whatevers. And it's really pushed into society that that's okay and acceptable. When it totally isn't. It really isn't. And it's not even natural. That's not the way to respond when you're going through something negative, So, yeah.
Yeah. So there were a few bullet points that are mentioned in the article.
Yes.
Things that we didn't really touch on in the last time we talked about this. And one of them was the creator.
Mm-hmm.
The creator deciding to make a light and dark beings.
Mm-hmm.
Who the heck is the creator? Because I don't know, but I was like, is there some Jesus God, Buddha, what, Allah something?
Yeah, so it says, who is the creator mentioned in the vision? I used quotes on the word creator because it felt to me to be a very loaded word. Plus, although accurate, it's not the meaning usually given to the word, which is God, an external singular being who is in charge of our creation and the experiences we have in life.
Right. So when you
It. And a lot of people have misquoted me through the years, saying, "Oh, when God created, when God made a light dark being and sent them to both universes," I never said God.
well, he said creator.
Exactly.
And creator is generally interpreted to be God. God is the creator.
Yeah.
That's even those words go together. God is the creator.
But it isn't that.
God isn't the creator.
No.
That's a misquote also.
Yeah, that's a misunderstanding and also a hijacked belief system.
If God isn't the creator, then there's two questions from that.
Mm-hmm.
Who the heck's God?
Uh-huh.
And who the heck's the creator?
So there are many gods.
But I'm talking about the God, not many gods.
Okay, so the Western man with a beard sitting on a throne, that God?
The God that's the creator of everything, that God.
Okay, so that doesn't exist.
Really?
Yes. That one doesn't exist.
Don't they have a word for that? Blasphemy or something?
I don't know, but it doesn't exist. What can I tell you?
There is no God, the creator of everything?
No.
So what about God, the creator of some stuff? Most everything.
No, that doesn't exist either.
You're trying to tell me that there is no God who created everything.
Yes.
But there is a God. There's many gods.
There's many gods, not a god.
So what are many gods? What are gods then?
They're creatures that are given abilities and powers by one or more individuals over their lives, I guess. And or have a larger understanding of the universe, so they seem to others then worship them because of it.
Well, I mean, a lot of times they get the other way around where here's the God that you have to worship or else you'll be kicked out of our tribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you just do.
Yeah, that's a next step. That's the next step.
And some of the gods seem to exist on their own, like Hanuman or...
They're not on their own. They have billions of subscribers.
Right, that's what I mean. Is there's
the original.
They just are. They're an original
network. Influencers.
So when sometimes they talk about God with Christians, there's a trinity of it that generates the God, or God is the guy with the son who's Jesus and the Mary thing.
No, I don't think that's God. There's not a trinity.
If there's a billion people who are giving their power to that God, who is it that's getting that power?
A being that accepts it, of course. What do they do with that power? That's very dependent on each person who gives that power away.
What about the God that's getting the power? What do they do with that power?
Well, it depends which one it is, isn't it?
It's the Christian God, let's say, the Trinity one.
Well, there's so many of them.
Well, I don't know which one. How do I say which one? The one in the Bible.
Well, which Bible? Because there's tons of Bibles.
The Bible with a big capital
B, the Catholic Bible?
Sure.
That God?
Okay. We'll just, for the sake of it.
Because it's a he.
Yes.
What does he do?
What does he, God, do with the power that those billion Catholics and whoever else the Catholics claimed as theirs give it? That power.
That God anchors the light dark paradigm on Earth.
Wow. I don't think you should be giving that God all your power. Well, unless you want to experience that.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So that God isn't he is in a way the creator of the experience that we're having of light dark.
No.
The enforcer of the experience.
Yeah, it empowers it. It gives it power, energy.
So the creator is actually the people who are giving it the power.
Yeah.
And the experience that they are wanting to have.
Yes.
That's who the creator is.
Yes.
I don't know if people got that, but...
You came around the south that way, and then we went left and then south. And then you went north again to the bit west. And then you came to the answer, honey. Who is the creator in the article?
The people who are giving the power to create the reality. that they want to experience.
Yes. Yeah.
That's who's the creator. It's the people who are the creator.
Yes. Correct.
And they creator created a being. They can call somebody else outside of them to separate themselves from the power to create that thing, so they can blame it on somebody else and have the experience. Otherwise, they would just change it.
Yes.
Because we're like, I'm tired of this suffering. I'll just click that off.
The thing is, they do that. A lot of people do that, but the people who are still not tired of suffering, they don't do that.
Yeah, they only say they're tired of suffering because they want something to moan about.
The evidence shows the opposite.
Yes. I'm so tired of suffering. I think I'll go over here and drink some more beer and get another hangover.
Yes. And destroy my marriage.
Destroy my marriage and not show up to work on time.
PTSD and
go give them all the shots and all the other things that make my life sufferable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that some more, but I'm tired of it. Okay, yeah, we're
very snarky right now.
I'm snarky?
Yes.
Okay. I don't mean to be snarky, but I am some days. Let's move on past the creator.
Let's move on past the creator.
Because, that's a touchy subject. Since clearly we don't want to blame ourselves for creating a mess.
Okay.
Who's witnessing that creator, which is us, doing this whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who's the witness?
What do you think?
You were the one sitting there. You're the one who had the dream.
I was the witness.
You were the witness.
Okay, so
moving on.
Okay, moving on.
There's planets. Lots of planets who are having this infection of light and dark, apparently, in your dream. And some people say planets are spheres in empty space whizzing around at 1 million miles an hour. And some people say, well, they're flat planes on top of turtles, things like that.
Right, okay.
Some people say they're spheroids or they're
holes in a plane.
Holes in the plane, they're gravity wells, all kind. There's cabbages on a. I mean, there's so many. What it is, but generally accepted currently, planets are marbles in space.
All right.
And only one of them that we can, see has like people walking around on it. All the rest of them are so far away that we think maybe that one way over there might be able to have people on it. But we can't say for sure because they never talk to us. Those are the marbles we're talking about. So what do the planets in your dream look like?
A plane.
Like an airplane?
No, just a plane.
Where is the plane resting on?
It rests in existence.
There's no turtles?
No. Planes of existence, honey. Planes of existence.
Okay. No turtles. Got it.
Okay.
So I don't even know where to go with planes of existence because are there marbles on this plane of existence?
No, there's
whistling through space?
No, there's no marbles whistling through space. And I use the words planets on purpose because a planet could be considered to be a frequency band of experience.
Yeah, okay. I could see it being a frequency band of experience. That makes sense because all of our inputs are experienced through our senses.
Yeah.
And all of our senses tell us we're on a marble in space, even though really, actually, it tells us we're on a plane.
Yeah.
If we go up high enough and use somebody else's camera.
So I have another bit. I do want to share something else around that.
Okay.
So when I told you how the dark beings immediately saw the light universe and wanted to conquer it, right?
Right.
Planned an assault and carried it out. Well, the light universe was also able to see the dark universe.
And they clearly needed some saving.
They clearly did, yes.
they were suffering like crazy over there, and let's help them.
Yes.
It's gonna be great.
Which is the same thing, right?
Yes, totally.
Exactly the same thing.
Totally.
Taking over another person's or another frequency bands, frequencies, make it more of your own.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to move past the planets because as a plane, which is even in planet, as a plane of experience, we can accept that our inputs are the way that we experience reality.
Yeah.
Our eyes and ears and nose, and we look out and we experience it as a plane.
Yes.
We say we send up an object and we look back on this plane and now it resembles a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go that way for a long time and then we hit another sphere that looks like a moon. And then we go a lot further or longer or faster. And eventually we need another sphere that looks like Mars or something.
Well,
that's what we're told. And there's a lot of math to back up what we're told, but
that actually doesn't fit. I remember when I was a kid, my brother was trying to recreate the solar system in a model. Okay, so he was giving this model of, I can't remember that guy from history who invented the Earth is round and these other planets, and then he was nearly, I think he might have been murdered by the Catholic Church or imprisoned for the rest of his life or whatever. Do you remember what his name was?
He's the fellow buried at the church in England, remember?
Do you remember his name?
Galileo or something.
I think so, yeah. Anyways, so he made a model of the stars and the planets because he said they were round and they went around each other and they were mathematically perfect. But he, in fact, was never able to replicate it. And then my brother was given this model and the sizes were all wrong. And when I looked at it and he went ding like that, and the thing moved and it all fitted perfectly. And I looked at it and I said, but the distances are wrong and it's not, it doesn't work, Like the sun is way too small and whatever. And he's like, it's not supposed to, you can't really replicate it in real life. Now, I don't know how that goes because if Galileo couldn't replicate his model in real life, then how is it accepted as the model of reality? Right? Because it had to move precisely so that it would look and reflect the physical universe and where the movements of the planets were exactly, and it didn't. Right? It didn't do it. So,
well, it is possible to predict where a dot in the sky is going to be at a certain time in a certain place on this plane.
But not all of them together.
Well, I don't know about all of them together or not all together, but the fact that that happens doesn't necessarily mean they're marbles in space. But marbles in space is the mental model we use to illustrate it.
All right.
So we'll just settle with that.
All right. Got it.
It may be true that if you go 17,000 miles an hour that direction for 42 hours, you will enter another plane of reality.
Okay.
It'll look like a marble on a camera, but that's because that's how you're experiencing it.
Okay. Got it.
But it actually isn't. Okay. So, who was the person who had both light and dark? And are they still alive? That's the question.
Yes. So when I've told this story before, especially to individuals, they haven't asked who's that person, right? Who has light and dark. They always identify with one side or the other.
Yeah, there the light got infected by the dark.
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's my main audience, of course. But I haven't met anyone who said or asked, what about the person who became both? Couldn't we say that that person is perfectly balanced? And what happened to them afterwards?
And how did they experience life? Were they infected by either one, or were they immune to the infection?
Right, right.
Were they like assholes part of the time and fairies the rest?
Right.
Were they what do we call complicated? What were they, honey?
Yes.
Do you know?
What I saw was that the person didn't have any personal investment in either the light or the dark, and their sole job was to be and have those two energies and carry them from one plane of existence to another, and then another. And then their job was done and they ceased to exist.
So more like a tool than a
They were a person.
presence.
No, they were a person at the time.
Think about that person.
Yes.
Going into that dark universe with light in it. And obviously, in the dark universe, that's based on power over others, etc., etc., etc. It's like, how many times did that light dark being get killed? Were they like invincible from being killed? Because why did they just take him over?
Yeah, it didn't happen.
And same in the light universe. It's like, obviously that person showing up with this dark is the first and only person showing up with all these issues. It's like, that person must have needed a lot of saving. How many times did they get saved?
So you have to understand that the light beings did not see the darkness until they got infected.
Oh, so to them, all they saw was the light part of that light dark being.
Yeah.
And the dark part, all they saw was the dark part of that.
Until they got infected,
Until they got infected. And then it was on like Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Okay. And probably they were, we'll say that there was a 30-year gestation period or something.
Yeah.
The infection didn't really instantly. Yeah.
No, okay. It was like a lifetime.
All right, that makes sense. So would you consider this vision, these dreams, to be an accurate representation of the way things happened, or more like a symbolic way to discuss the way things were carried out?
It is symbolic in the fact that it only covers two universes, one that we might call dark and one that we might call light. When I look beyond those two universes, there's so much more, so many other universes with experiences that we don't even have names for. So in that sense, it's symbolic and limited to the work at hand, or to understand certain aspects of why we have a light-dark paradigm when it's so unnatural to us.
It's sort of like having an answer to the question. How did they meet? Well, there was a light-dark being. It went into both places and infected everyone.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you don't get like stuck on the question.
Right.
You get stuck on it's impossible. And for you, it was a dream that was repeated so that you could comprehend why you were here, which was kind of the next question, which is, how do you separate these two worlds after they've infected each other and now can see each other and are irresistible to each other, right? I mean,
one wants to save the other.
One wants to save the other wants to destroy and enslave the other. It's like there's this population of billions that need enslaving, and there's billions that need saving. So it's like an irresistible combination.
It is.
In a sense.
Yeah.
So how do you separate them after that? Because, I mean, the ones that are trying to enslave, I'm not sure how they feel if they like drop the I gotta enslave everyone feeling. But the ones that are here to heal or save or whatever, it's like, how do they just let them go on suffering? How do you do that? It's like, that seems so mean.
Yes. And I'd like us to explore that on the Wisdom Keeper Hour.
Oh, really? You're not going to tell me now?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
And I want to hear what our other Wisdom Keepers have to say about that, what their thoughts are around it.
Okay. Well, I guess it's been a half an hour, so I've enjoyed this part of the conversation, and I can't wait to start the rest of it.
Yes.
See you there.
Welcome, everyone, to the Wisdom Keeper Hour, the second half of Driving to the Res. And we're talking about how can the light, dark see each other. Hi, Larry and Inelia.
Hi there.
And we're joined, obviously, with our panelists. I'm Ashley Swale, CEO of iBenz Academy, iBenz Method Mentor, Corporate HR Leader, Mystic, and Yoga Teacher.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kara Consigli. I'm an iBenz Method Mentor, a healer, teacher, consultant, entrepreneur, and mystic.
Hi, I'm Fred Guerin, aerospace engineer, pilot, dancer, past life regressionist, and healer, and student of the occult.
Hi, I'm Ileana Rojero. I'm a mystic, mentor, psychic meditation teacher, architect, and founder of El Método iBenz, the official channel of Inelia's work in Spanish.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to translate in the middle of a different language, isn't it?
I was making sure that I wouldn't say it in English. It's like, no.
It's better you saying it than me, though. So we have to dive right into, I think, the biggest question from this first half of the conversation. How do we separate these two worlds after they are infected with each other and can see each other?
Yes. Any ideas, anyone?
I have one.
Okay.
Use your tools.
That is very close, yeah.
But not right?
Yeah, it's right, but it doesn't quite grab the core of it, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Completely eradicate our infections?
From?
Darkness?
Where are they?
Klingons, programs, belief systems?
You're still skirting the edges of it.
Agreements.
Too, that too.
Okay, let's give us a chance.
Okay.
I was actually just going to say agreements. It's like removing our agreements, because initially that's what it was. It was like, oh, we're curious. This is interesting, right? So wouldn't we have to remove that agreement, that interest, that desire to have the light dark paradigm in order to remove it and separate?
Yeah, still skirting. Ileana, any thought?
I thought the same thing, like just become more aware of how every moment where we are, where is our focus, and where, if we are in the light or not, like our little actions and things.
Yeah. Skirting.
Raise your frequency.
Yes.
So that the dark can't see you anymore.
That's a good one. Yeah. Still skirting though. How about you, Larry?
Well, drop the darkness.
Yeah. Oh, everything's skirting. Why am I saying skirting? Is because you're all actually very accurate in your descriptions. But the fact is that we need to clarify that this is a singular work, that each person needs to do this. It's not like, oh, how can we eradicate all darkness from Earth? We can, but we do it at a singular level.
Join us for the rest of this conversation at driveintotheres.com.
And when you go to driveintotheres.com and you join in the rest of the show, rest of the second hour, you also get to join in the after party. 9 o'clock on Fridays, we all get together, including you.